Welcome everyone, my name's Jeff Smith, and in today's video I'm going to give you a tour of Oracle SQL Developer. So when you first start up the application, it's going to look a little something like this. Or maybe I should back up a little bit. Just what is Oracle SQL Developer? Well, it's our graphical user interface for the Oracle database, and it's also our integrated development environment for PL/SQL, which is the programming language for the Oracle database. This is a Java application. I'm running it on Windows 7. It runs just fine on Windows 10, on your OS X, or even your Linux desktops. And everything I'm showing you today will generally apply to those environments as well. But today I want to show you the different screens, the different widgets, how to configure those, so that when you're ready to use the tool, you know it's available to you and you can make it look and feel and work the way you want. So this is generally what you get out of the box. You have your connections panel on the left. And these panels can go anywhere. And they're all accessible on the View menu. And there are a ton of panels. You're not going to use more than 2 or 3 of these probably. What we give you out of the box in terms of what's open is the Connections panel and this Reports panel. And the reports are just some predefined queries and scripts that we've written for you that you can run automatically on your database to see what's what, and you can also build and create your own. I do have a video specifically just on the reports if you want a tour of that. But specifically these panels, if you accidentally screw up and close all of them, don't freak out. They're all available again on this View menu. Again, it goes here, but I can put it anywhere I want. And I do that with the mouse, and it can be a little tricky, but I'm going to left click on my mouse and pick it up, and as I start to move it around, you'll see these dock points start to highlight up. So if I were to let go of the mouse, it's showing me where it'll go. So I'm going to let go right here, and now it's over here sharing space with the snippets panel, which I'm going to close. And I can pick this up, and I can really put it anywhere I want on the tool. I can even put it with the other normal document tab editors, which is where I would normally see tables and worksheets and reports. Now, if you just get totally lost and you really screw up your desktop, or if you try to open one of these panels and they don't show up for some reason, there is a cheat. You can always go to the Window menu and say Reset Windows to Factory Settings. Now don't freak out, this does not format your Windows desktop and reinstall Windows. It resets the windowing layout for the application for SQL Developer. So when it does that, it's going to basically reopen the app with everything as it should be out of the box, which is the Connections window and then the Reports panel below. Now you can stack these panels on top of each other. So I'm going to bring up Reports, and there's a couple different options. I can drop it here. Oops. Here we go. I can drop it here and get a side-by-side, or I can kind of take it back to where it was before and have it share either vertically or horizontally the same space. And again, it can be a little tricky on the drag and drop points, but the nice thing is that orange highlight tells you where it's going to go before you get there. So you can have as many of these open as you want, and you can have them placed anywhere that you want. Let me show you the ones that I regularly use. So I definitely use Reports and Connections, and I will often have them set up this way. I use the DBA functionality a lot, which will really double the feature set in the tool. And again, I have another video that takes you through all the DBA features. The other panel that's very, very important is the Log panel. So I use the Log panel for 2 primary things. For error messages that come back from the application, that'll come back here in the Messages panel. The logging page, not so much. This is really when something physically goes wrong in the application and you need to debug or send a message to support, or maybe send us over on the forums. The messages here can be important, but generally you're not going to look at this page. The one that I love is something that we've added several releases ago. This is the statements panel. And as we do things in the tool, let's query. I'm going to use the insight feature to autocomplete. There is SQL being executed on your connection in the background that the tool is using to go help you get stuff. So for example, I can see that we use these queries here to predict the object that I wanted to complete at the cursor. So I typed UNT and we sent that as a bind parameter to this query here. So this is us looking through the data dictionary, looking for objects that you might possibly want in your worksheet. So when you're looking to teach yourself SQL, or teach yourself how the database works, or just see how SQL Developer is working, this is the ultimate cheat, the statements panel. So it'll show every single query executed across the thin JDBC driver. Now I say thin JDBC driver because if you do come into the preferences and tell SQL Developer that you want to be super advanced and you want to use a thick driver client for your connections. So if I actually enable thick driver client connections, that will kind of bypass the normal JDBC path to the database, and we will not record statements to that statements panel. But again, everything you need to go out of the box to work with Oracle is pretty much there without this. And so for 95% of you, you're going to see all of your queries down here in the statements log. Again, what I'll generally do is I'll keep this hidden on my desktop, and then when I need it, come back here, mouse over the statements log, and it'll pop up so I can see it. And if I click here, it'll hard dock it back into the desktop. And again, I can put this anywhere I want using that same drag and drop click trick. One last thing, and I've shown this before in other videos, but it is maybe the biggest tip and trick you want to learn in SQL Developer, is the ability to see multiple window panels at the same time. So if I want to see my start page that has links to places to go get more help, and my worksheet at the same time, or let's say we'll look at a table as well. So let's look at the employees table. If I want to see my employees table and the worksheet at the same time, I right click on the panel and I say new document tab group. So now I have a new doc space for things. So if I wanted to get crazy, I could put my reports over here with this doc space. Why I'd want to do that, I don't know, but the tool allows me to do it, and so I'll do it in my little YouTube video just to give you guys an example of what's available. Again, if you want to go super crazy with the desktop, maybe you've gone a little bit too crazy, again, your ultimate cheat to get things back out of the box without having to delete your install and starting over really from scratch, reset Windows to factory settings. And again, that's the ultimate thing you want to go to if you try to open up one of these panels and for some reason they're not showing up. One last trick, if you've got multiple displays, you can also undock windows, panels, whatever you want from the main application and drag it over to an external display, or keep it open as an independent window. Now, Windows, or the operating system, will see this as separate applications now. And if you screw up and you lose this window, you should be able to get to it. You should be able to get to it from here. So I can say switch to, go get me to that thing that I've dragged off to, and that brings it back. And I can right click and say please redock this back into my main app. And then again, once you're up here, you can drag and drop. Oops. Don't drag and drop too fast. There we go. You can rearrange your document tabs here as well. Now if you're on a really older version of SQL Developer, something that starts with a 1, a 2, and a 3, most of what I've shown you does not apply. This is all sort of modern things that we've put into the application starting in version 4.0. So that was your tour of the desktop in Oracle SQL Developer. I hope that's helped. If you have questions, you know where to find me. On Twitter, I'm at @JeffSmith. If you want to email me, here's my corporate email. or you can come to my blog at thatjeffsmith.com. Thanks everyone. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff, and we'll see you later in 2018.